Alrighty, this video is going to be just a brief little overview on the new hole component that is being implemented in for the FPS Template Plugin, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give you a rough idea on how you can go about using it and setting it up. So for example, here I just have a simple actor. It's just a blueprint actor, nothing special, and I've added my hole component into it. So if we search for FPS, you just add FPS Template Hole, and then you have everything you need. So the way this works is we have an array of material settings. So basically, if you want, based on your mesh, this is kind of how you would set it up. So here I have a static mesh that has two materials. So material 1 and material 2, and I both want these to have holes being able to be applied to them. So what I do is I add two elements to my material settings, and all I do is just tell it I want a max hole count, which currently is set up to 8, to be applied to material index 0. Then same thing to material index 1. So you can tell which one those are based upon this here in the materials. So index 0 is going to be the one on the left here, and index 1 is going to be the one on the right. So you can set this up in just any combination of ways. So if you have like 5 different materials, you can set it up to where you can only apply or draw holes on, say, 2 to 3 or 4 of them if you wanted to. So that's kind of how that goes through and works. Now, the only other thing you have to do is make a material instance based off of my master material. So here I have my penetratable master material. You just set that as the parent, and all you have to do is just tweak these values to your liking. So you have the base color, the normal map, and the occlusion, roughness, and metallic. Then you have the radial texture that you can apply to it. So I'll show you that here in a second. So real quickly, I'm just going to show you how this goes. So I shoot. I shot 8 times, and here I can shoot 8 more times. And then whenever I go over that 8 amount, so I'll shoot at the bottom. As you can see here, it starts overwriting the last hole. So same thing here. Now this is again the same mesh, just 2 different materials that it's being worked with. So let me go ahead and revert this back to the IPSC target. So that way we can have a better idea on some of the things that you can change. So since this only has one material, I'm going to delete the second addition or the second material setting and just leave 1. So here we are. So when I shoot, as you can see, probably easier just to fly around. There's now a hole applied to the material. You can see right through it. And this also has functions for doing things such as testing whether or not the hit a hole, which again, this is actually a work in progress. So this is already functional. However, I just got to rewrite this function to test the new system. So if I search for did impact hole, right now it just takes in, not sure why that got added, the impact location, which I want to change it to take in a hit result, again, to simplify it, and then the tolerance of it. So this will basically allow you to add logic to your impact to dictate whether or not when you shoot through and hit a hole, such as if I shoot the A box just like that, to where I now have a hole right there and beside the A. If I were to shoot in the same place again, which that one didn't hit, there we go, that one looked like it went right through it. What you could do is set it up, so that if your projectile or your line trace or whatever impacted here, it would return true, saying that it did impact a hole, and you could ignore it based upon that. So you can kind of allow the ability to shoot through stuff using this method. And of course, whenever I go to delete that node, it complains. All right, so let's see. There was something else I wanted to add. What was it? No, I almost forgot the settings. So here I have a material, and this is using my parent. So the radial texture. So here we have an option for use radial texture. That is currently set to 0. So as you can see, it is just a clean hole right on through. There's nothing fancy about it. And it draws a little decal that you can see gets cleaned up over time. And that you can ignore. That's just part of my helpers. So if we add it, or we set it up to use a radial texture, such as this one here, I'm just having it set for a blood effect. What you will see is there is now some blood around it. Let me click over there to hide it. you can see it now has some blood around it. So basically, this was intended to be worked through as a gore system that ended up getting overhauled for the time being, at least, to just a very basic hull component that you can set up and easily use. So in theory, you could use this as a little bit of gore. However, I would recommend you just kind of keep it for the use that I'm showing you here. But anyways, that radial texture gets applied to it. So this is where you would do something like, you could, for example, apply, I guess, a normal. I think I'm using color, so that's probably not going to show up very well. Yeah, like that, so it shows up as yellow. But you could do some basic tweaks and get some kind of different effects set up to it, to where it suits what you need. So for example, in this case of cardboard, it would almost be just kind of like a straight punch through hole. So what you would do is you would set the use radial texture to 0. However, let's say you wanted to apply this to something metallic, or even this plastic barrel here. Let's say this was a metal barrel. Well, what you could do was just apply a metal texture in place of the radial texture here. So you would replace the blood effect with something that corresponds more so to metal. You would set use radial texture to 1. And then whenever you would shoot and it would hit, what it would do is it would apply a nice metallic texture to it, giving it kind of a broken or worn down kind of view. Or not view, but a visual effect to it. Anyways, that is going to be all for this video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can check out the Patreon or the link to the plugin in the description below, and it's up on the marketplace. If you want to support me through Patreon, that is also linked down below there. And if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to join my Discord. That's also linked down below, and I'll try to help you out. I'll see you in the next video.